Hi everybody, it's Sarah Cray with Let's Make Art, and I wanted to do a fun St. Patrick's Day Clover themed project, okay? This is something that you can do in your watercolor calendars or just your journals. This one I did just in my Bella Classica journal that I love so much. So this is the project that we will be doing, okay?
Love it.
I do have another journal to paint in this time, so then I don't have two of the same painting right next to each other. But you can just do whatever you have or a scratch piece of paper. I listed all the supplies that I'm using in the project caption, right?
Nice.
That's what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, great. We're going to be doing it in 4 steps.
Wait, it's project description.
Thank you. Project description.
Caption sounded right.
4 steps. So our very first step is we're going to spray with a spray bottle actually to get this really cool, funky, uneven texture. And then we are going to do a green wash. So that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to start lifting out some color for our clovers. Step 3, we're going to start adding in shadows around clovers and making new clovers. We'll do that one more time. And then our very last step are some details. So basically, this is kind of like a negative space painting. And if you are unfamiliar with negative space painting, it essentially means that we paint around the subject in order to form the subject. Okay?
Love it.
All right. Also, just funny. When I was doing this project, I forgot how to do negative space painting, and I painted this, and I'm like, this isn't right. And it's because I totally forgot how to paint negative space.
Nice.
And then I remembered, so we're good. It's okay. All right.
Crisis averted.
Crisis averted. So I have my sketchbook here.
By the way, close this book real quick. The Prophet by Khalil Gibran is one of my favorites. What an excellent cover choice for this watercolor notebook.
I know. When I bought this from Bella Classica, and when I saw this on the website, I literally gasped because this is one of Michael and I's favorite books. And the cover is just gorgeous. So anyways, it's like a kind of a new journal that I'm starting because I'm almost done with this guy.
Dang.
I know. I only have a few pages left.
Dang.
And so I'm like, yes. Okay. Anyways.
Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to say I love that book.
It was worth it. It's a great book. Okay, so whenever I paint in my journal, the trickiest thing is just getting it to like stay. So that's why I use binder clips a lot. Okay, so I use binder clips to clip the pages down. And then sometimes I'll also use them to weigh pages down. Does that make sense? So the other side will stay flat. Other things that I'll use is I'll just use random objects to place on there so they'll lay flat, or I'm just like fine with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to do that. Okay. Let's do our oath, and then we will get into it. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a spray bottle ready. I have all my greens ready. And one more thing before we get started, in case you're like, well, how do you even draw clover, or what are the shapes? Clover is usually made up of 3 or 4 pieces, and they're heart-shaped. 1, 2, 3. So that could be 1. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want you to notice something. They don't have to be perfect, okay? Some might be bigger than others. Some of them might be like turning away from us, so the heart shape is not big and round. It's kind of more flat and skinny because it's on its side, okay? And they also, if you're in doubt for like if it's looking too heart-shaped, then the top of it, don't have it go in so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Have it be a slight dip instead of a deep dip. And then sometimes they have this white detailing right here as well. So we'll be putting that in some of ours. But that's the basic shape, okay?
Love it.
And you guys can do it. Okay. So I'm going to take my spray bottle, and I'm going to spray in the center and along the edges. I don't want to puddle. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to grab some Undersea green, but you can use whatever green you want. And I'm just going to start touching it in here, and it's just going to spread in the sprayed areas. Okay. Another way that you can do it too, if your painting is not too damp, is you can wet the area like so. Like on a dry piece of paper, you wet it, and then you take your spray bottle and spray. So either or both, whatever you want. I'm gonna do a little bit of both.
That's such a cool effect.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
And it just creates like such an uneven, very cool edge. And notice that I'm not going all the way to the edge.
Because your binder clip's there.
Because my binder clip is there. If you want, you can tape off the edges, but I think this like unfinished, like even edge is super cool. Okay. So got our wash. It looks great. It's okay if there's some light spaces in between. And then even sometimes you might see these little like flecks of water kind of come off. Sometimes I'll go in there and purposely like put color in there. So then we can like keep that texture in the painting. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like so. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift out some color. So I'm going to use a clean brush. I'm going to use a paper towel. And I'm going to start kind of shaping out some clover. So you can use a paintbrush to lift. The other thing that you can do is you can just use the paper towel itself. Now, the benefit of using the paper towel itself is it lifts better. The negative is that you're not going to be able to control the shape too much. But for this initial like lift out, I'm not going to worry too much about controlling the shape. Okay. I wonder if I should do like a darker wash so it comes, so you guys can really see the lift. Should I do that? No.
No, I could see it.
So at this point, I'm just kind of like using my paper towel to lift. And then I will go back and reshape it, okay? But we're just kind of lifting out color. And don't be afraid to lift out color along the sides too. Okay. I was going to say something. Also, if you don't, this is going to take some time because we're doing lots of layers. To save time, you can just make your clovers bigger instead of so tiny. Okay.
Good tip.
Now that I have lifted, thank you. Now that I've lifted out, what I can start doing is I can start shaping around the lifted out areas. So let's say I lifted out some color here. So I can do my little heart shaped. Like that. And then you just kind of smooth the color out around it. Now, I will say that this part can be really tricky because everything is wet. So you're going to shape it and then all the color is going to bleed and you're going to be like, wait a second, that doesn't look like a clover. And I'm going to say, yes, I know, but that's okay because as it dries, we can go back and reshape things. So you have to, there's like this aspect of letting go a little bit. Just let go. And we'll go back and reshape it. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. And even after you put that color down, if you're like, oh no, it's bleeding into my white so much, well, go back with your paper towel and just lift back out. The other thing that you can do is you can just wait for this to dry a little bit more. I'm going to focus on making my clovers bigger because those are so tiny. Okay, so I'm going to be like, okay, Sarah, make these bigger. So let's do a nice big. There's a leaf. There's a leaf. And there's a leaf. And I'm just going to paint around it.
These kind of paintings are fun for me because they're not like linear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like clovers immediately.
Yeah, it's funny because in my head, I was just like, Sarah, people are going to be really struggling with this, that there's no clovers that we're seeing yet. And so I'm telling myself, as I'm telling you, it's okay. Trust the process. Okay.
You got a belief that the clovers will appear. Belief?
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're really only doing this a couple of times. Like, we're not staying in this uncomfortable spot for very long. It's just we really want to capitalize on this light value while we can. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I made a few different clovers that aren't clover shaped because, again, it was all wet. And I'm going to let this mostly dry. And by mostly dry, I'm going to use my heated craft tool. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to some of those areas where it was lighter. And this is where I'm going to see if it's dry enough. Not yet. And I'm going to go and make those clovers a little bit bigger. The wet paint shrank them, and also I made them too tiny to begin with. But at this stage, we're still in the beginning stage, so we still have a lot of control. So, clover, 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 clover. And then I take my brush and I continue the color out. Okay.
Just started raining outside. I can hear it.
Yeah, it's
Pitter
pretty.
patter.
So right now I'm working with a really light value. And each layer we do, we will darken our values. And also, if you want to leave space for like a stem, you can. And then if you're working close to the edge, I'm going to move this color just to the edge. I'm not trying to like go past it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I really want that uneven edge. And I think this one here, I'll leave a little bit of a stem. Does it make sense for there to be a stem there? No. I'm doing it anyway. Okay. So there's a clover. Let's do another one right here. And again, be kind to yourself as you're painting / drawing these clovers. Okay. It's really easy to be like, what the heck is that? But I promise you that as you keep layering, as you keep doing this, people are going to understand what it is that you're creating. So just keep going. I'm going to do another clover here. So again, I'm doing my heart shape and then my other heart shape. Now I will say that you want to be careful when it comes to drawing the different shapes and then going back and spreading it out, just because it's possible that the line that you use to draw the heart will stay a darker value. So if you notice that, try and just do one leaf at a time. So then that line disappears. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, again, this is a project that takes some time and some patience. So this is a great one, though, that you can start and then come back to. Or if you need to just kind of zone out for a little bit.
I'm entranced just watching.
Yeah, it's like satisfying to see these kind of shapes emerge. The other thing I want to call attention to that I just noticed in my own painting is I'm kind of evenly spacing these clovers out. And don't be afraid to not do that. And then, okay, let's say like this is a super wonky clover. I can just keep going. The other thing I can do is I can be like, you are now a 3-leaf clover.
which are more common than four-leaf clovers.
Yeah,
You know?
so there's nothing wrong with changing it up. And then let's do a hint of a edge of a clover over here. And I love this undersea green because it has other colors in it. Do you see that? Like the blues, and
Totally.
it's fun to use different colors. I mean, to use like granulating colors or colors that have um, that are made up of a bunch of different colors, so then they can spread out.
I thought it was a trick of the camera when you were like blotting with your paper towel because I kept seeing a lot of blue, but it makes sense that they're granulating paints.
Yeah. Not all tube paints are granulating, so just make sure you're aware of that. So you see how that outline is a little bit harder?
Yeah.
That's because I didn't do it petal by petal or leaf by leaf. What is it?
I don't think they're flowers, so it'd probably be a leaf.
All right.
I think clovers do have flowers, though. I think they're teeny
They
tiny white ones.
do, yeah. And you can put some of those in this type of painting if you want.
There's also purple clover in Missouri. You've seen them. They're very
Oh,
beautiful.
it's so pretty. Let's see if I can make another clover with not such a harsh line. And also while you're painting this, you might run across where like there's some textures in the clover. That's okay. All right, this clover got really wonky. Just keep on going though. Embrace the wonky clover.
Statistically speaking, there's a clover that looks like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
there's got to be.
I'll find it.
You can also use like the natural washes that happen within this painting to create like this looks like a clover.
Yeah.
Little individual. So you can just go off of that, you know? Okay, we're almost done with our initial layer. You guys are doing great. Again, this is one of those where it's not complicated. It just requires a little bit more time and patience. And that's also why I like to do it in like my journal, because journals are such a great way not only for you guys to explore new techniques, but to just kind of have this almost like meditative practice. I don't know what's happening there.
It got stepped on.
It got stepped on. It got partially eaten.
Yes.
Okay. So that's our first wash. We're going to let that dry. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that whole thing, except we're going to avoid painting on top of what we just painted. And then we're going to avoid painting more clovers. We're going to create more clovers by painting around them in a darker value. And that's going to create layers of different values of clovers, which will then give the illusion of like layers of them.
Love it.
I did a really good job explaining that. Okay. I'm still just going to keep using undersea green, but it like literally, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to mix in a little bit of Q gold in there to get like a hints of warmth. You can also put in phthalo blue or like blues, oranges, yellows. You can mix those in there. That's just going to give you different greens, which I think are beautiful.
Listen, your critics will say you are not a rebel, but look at you now.
Look at what we're doing.
Did you just put gold in blue?
I did.
Dang. Rebel.
Okay, so you can see here that I am shaping a new clover around what I've already painted. And then when I go to kind of blend this color out, I'm going to work around what I just painted and what has already been painted. Okay. And this is negative space painting. We are creating the shape by painting around the shape. Clover over here. And again, as long as the value is darker, that's the most important thing. That just this layer that you're doing is like one click darker. Okay. And because there are layers of clover, it's okay if we only see like pieces of it peeking through, you know?
I'm sorry. I'm nodding my head yes. I have gotten the critique on the internet that I need to say yes when you say you know. I am nodding my head over here, but yes.
Mm. And then it'll be interesting. You guys will see that when we get to like the third layer of this, at that point, we don't have enough space to do full clovers. Okay. So we're still kind of doing full clovers at this point, or mostly full clovers. At the very end, you'll just see like a curve, a hint of a leaf or something like that. But it's such a cool technique.
Yeah, I really like it. Listen, adding gold to that green paid off in spades. Look how gorgeous.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
I like it too. The other reason why I really like negative space painting is because so much of creating work is visualizing things. And so this is such a great practice in getting your brain to understand what it's like to look at something, visualize it there, and then paint around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's really uncomfortable at first. And for the very beginner, that can be very difficult. So if you're struggling, there's nothing wrong with you. This is tricky. It's tricky to be able to create, like visually plant a clover right here and then paint around it. That's really hard. And so if you're not there yet, there's nothing wrong with before getting into the painting aspect as we layer to draw them. And then you know where to paint around. Okay. For me, I'm practiced enough that I can visually see them and paint around them each step. But if you're not there yet, that's okay. Just use a pencil, draw them, and then paint around them. And sometimes you accidentally paint over a section that you didn't mean to paint and you go, no. And then you just keep on going. It's bound to happen. And it happens to everybody. Okay. That's layer 2. Now we're going to do a third layer. I will say and this is for educational purposes, because in my journal, it doesn't really matter. For the sake of this painting, it doesn't matter. But for educational purposes, you need to know that what I just did right here, this doesn't make sense. Because this is a lighter value, this should be on top. But how I drew this is this medium value is on top of the lighter value.
Got you.
So if we're following the rules, that's against the rules. But I like to break the rules. I'm very edgy.
Yeah, pretty rebellious.
I'm very rebellious.
If you did get contracted to do this for the Smithsonian, though, maybe do it,
maybe do it right.
Flip it the other way. For your personal work, it's fine.
I just want to show you that, like, sometimes it's helpful for you guys to see those visuals of why things like that, like how that affects things spatially, just because of the color and the value. And I can see, like, just laying down this dark wash, that my green was not dry. Look at how much that's bleeding. So that's not a huge deal. Blended it out, and I'll just do another layer with my of my heat tool to make sure this is nice and dry. I love this technique too, because it almost feels like, a piece of paper is over some clover and it just, like, this middle got ripped out of the paper. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Okay, let's see if that's... So again, the green I'm doing now is a darker value than what I've done before. And because I have these little sections now, I won't have space to do full clovers, and that's okay. I'm just going to do my best. Kind of visualize where I want them to go, and then paint around that. And this value might be a little bit too dark, so I added some water onto my paintbrush to kind of soften that value. So again, I'm painting around Clover that I've already painted, and I'm making new Clover. My new Clover is not going to be very noticeable, though, because I have such itty bitty space. But again, just do the best you can. And wherever you, like, get a chunk where you can do a very obvious leaf, take it. Isn't that cool, though? I just really love, every time I do this technique, it surprises me.
Yeah, I just want to go back and tell Michael from the beginning of the video, like, see, it told you, look at how cool it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because, like,
yeah,
again,
yeah.
like I said, it doesn't start out looking like Clover.
Oh, yeah, when we were, like, lifting.
Yeah.
You're like,
"All
what
right,
is happening?
I trust you. Let's
You're
go."
like, literally nothing is happening. Okay, that feels really good. And then I'll probably do one more wash, because the more layers of value you can get, how dark you can go, is going to add more depth to this. Okay. So don't be afraid to, like, oh yeah, I could do one more. I could go darker,
Yeah. You still going to stay in the green family, or are you going to go like black?
I'm going to stay in the green family, but I'm probably going to mix green, like undersea green, with lamp black.
Gotcha.
Or you can do mixed with indigo, just anything that's going to take that value and notch it down.
Yeah, something about the textures of this one, I feel like you could touch them. I know it's not like sometimes I guess that's mostly like hyper realistic paintings. You feel like you could touch and feel the textures.
Mm-hmm.
I know this one's not hyper realistic, but it still has that same touchable quality.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Or you just want to, like, you feel like you can, I think it means you feel like you can put your hand in that space.
Yes.
So you see how by adding that really dark value, all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, that keeps going down.
Yeah.
Like there are more layers there. And that's the benefit of adding these darker values, is that's what it does. Is it creates this like, oh shoot, this keeps going in a good way. Oh shoot, in a good way. And again, at this point, we're just doing little things around it here and there because we can't really see full clover. So I'll just do like a leaf, like the edge of a leaf. And that's kind of more what I'll paint around. Pretty cool, huh?
Love it. You guys at home also can't hear it. I already mentioned it. It's like raining outside, and like this is the most calming thing, just being able to watch this painting happen. I feel like I need like a warm cup of tea.
Oh, yeah.
I could tell I'm getting old because honey in my tea, I could take it or leave it at this point. Sometimes I just like straight up tea.
Yeah, I've actually I haven't been that into honey in my tea in a while. I like it just how it is. Okay. Okay, this part can use with some darkness. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now what we are going to do is this is where we add details and we kind of bring some of our clovers to life. This is also where we can play with colors. Okay, so I know that with one of my layers of green, I added gold to my wash, and that's how I got some more kind of warm greens. But to for like extra fun, you can just take a little bit of gold or blue or whatever color you want. I'm going to lean towards yellows because one, I like a more yellow green, and two, it feels more St. Patrick's-y to me. And on some of these, you can just do like the lightest little wash,
Oh, nice.
and it just brings a touch of color. And it doesn't have to be on every single one. It can just be here and there. But it just brings kind of like a liveliness to it. Let's see what happens if I do a blue wash. Let's just see. Sometimes I like to just try something out. Ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
So again, you don't have to do it on every single clover, but sometimes it's nice just to bring in an extra glaze of color.
I just realized I know nothing about St. Patrick. I'm going to look real quick.
Okay, great. And remember, the glazes that we're doing are very light in value. And the reason why it's almost like it's like barely there color, mostly water with the touch of color that we're adding. And that's because we don't want to mess with the values that we've already formed. And by doing lots of layers or a dark layer of color on these can actually adjust the layers to where we would lose the differences. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of be aware of that. And I feel like I can do with a yellow here.
St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. The guy. Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big deal.
Wow, that's quite a task. I don't know why I thought he got the snakes out of Ireland.
Oh my gosh, I thought that too. And then I said, don't say it, Sarah, because you're probably wrong.
I'm going to look up who that was.
Okay. Okay, so now I added just a little hint of color here and there. And then this is where if you wanted to do more of this kind of like uneven edge on your painting using the spray bottle, you can be a little bit more like intentional about it. So I could take my spray bottle and like, let's say I want to do something here. I'm just going to spray that.
Ireland is too cold to have snakes. No one banished snakes from Ireland because snakes never lived there, according to National Geographic. The story of St. Patrick driving snakes out is a myth.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
It's funny.
Okay, so I sprayed that area and then just dropped in some color. And that was it. It was kind of a puddle though. And whenever you get a puddle on your page like this, it will take forever to dry, even with a heated craft tool. So sometimes I'll just blot with a paper towel and then dry.
Solved. Problem solved.
So I still have some more interesting texture there. If you want the color to be a little bit darker, since we picked up the extra water, we can. But it just kind of gives that really cool, uneven edge. I kind of like this edge though. I don't know if I want to touch that. You can add that wherever you see fit. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to add little details onto our clovers themselves. You can also take a brush and kind of reshape some of these leaves. Sometimes what I'll do though is I'll go in with a really thin detail brush and just kind of separate the clover out a tiny bit. You see how a lot of these kind of like chunked together?
Yes.
So I'm just going to go in and say, no, these are individual pieces and they all connect to a center like that. Sometimes they also have a little bit of a line going down the center of them, kind of where that heart goes in. Don't make that too dark though, because we don't want it to seem like it's two different leaves. We don't want it to feel like a split. We just want it to feel like on the leaf still. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I'm going to take some bleed proof white. And using my detail brush on some of these, I can do that little white mark. It's not going to show up as good on these really bright ones, but you can still add it. I think they show up best on the medium value ones, but if you want to be technical about it, the white on the medium value ones is not going to be as bright as on the lightest ones because these ones are kind of shadowed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll take a little bit of water to my bleed proof white mixture just to soften that bleed proof white. So then it matches with my value changing at my shadows.
It is wild what just those little dabs of white do for this picture.
Yeah. Like these little details, don't
sleep on them.
Don't sleep on. That's what my daughter would say.
Yeah, we have a 13-year-old who knows all the cool language. We're learning all about it.
We're learning all about it.
We're cooked.
No, we're not cooked.
We're not cooked. That's right.
We're not cooked and we're not crashing out.
That's right.
A new language. And you don't have to do this white detailing on every single one of them. It's up to you. It would also be cute to add little like water drops or something on here if you wanted.
Or a hidden frog.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cute. Little eyes peeking through or something.
Yeah. Or if you watch the April calendar paint along, a hidden vulture.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is where, we did our details. We adjust the edge if you wanted. Here, let me change this. If you wanted to have like a more uneven spray edge. And then Sometimes I'll go in and just do like super dark on some of this just to again push it one more time to say, how far can I really push this away? You know,
Yeah.
it's not everywhere, it's just some places. And there we go.
Beautiful.
Here is our negative space clover painting. I hope you had fun with this. And you can do this technique for anything. We have done it before with like other leaves, and I've done it before like for magnolia flowers and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, this is a great technique. It's a great practice to um, get your mind used to visualizing things that don't have a line there. So it's very valuable. And also the spray bottle technique with this like really loose, uneven edge is super cool. So have fun with that, play with that as you see fit. And I hope that by introducing these different techniques to you guys, it like lights something in you where you say, oh, a spray bottle, that's so cool. I wonder what happens if I do this.
Right.
And then you take that and you apply it to something else, something that we didn't do together. And the more that you do that, the more it will be easier for you to create your own original work, to move away from tutorials, and to, I don't know, make your own creative decisions, which is honestly my goal. So thank you so much for painting with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.